Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Tara with Pieces of Tara Artistry. Thank you for being here today. I am going to be showing you today how I mix my paints for a Dutch pour, my pigments. So I bought a bunch of these This Little Piggy pigments over the winter, and I was using them in the bloom, and I still use them in the bloom. They work beautifully in the bloom. But I've had a really hard time getting them to work for me in a Dutch pour. So I've seen Erica Hughes and how she does it. I tried that recipe and it really didn't work for me. And so kind of went back to the drawing board, and I tried using the Liquitex pouring medium to wet the pigments. And then I was using my pouring medium of 50% Floetrol, 50% GAC 800, and for some reason my pigments just all disappeared. Like I was like I didn't even put them in there. And so I mean, these are a little too expensive to lose them in your paintings. So I kind of tabled it for a little while, and last week or about a week and a half ago, I was just thinking, okay, I gotta figure this out. What if I just make paint, and then add my pouring medium like I do with every other paint that I have? So I was just getting ready to research how to do that. And I had one of my Patreons emailed me that she had gotten some information from Golden and asked if I would like the information. I said, sure, fine, great. And when I opened the email that she sent me, it was literally everything I needed to know on how to make paint, which, I mean, it was crazy how it worked out that way. And it was really really crazy. Anyway, so I read the article and a lot of things clicked for me. So like, number one, pigments and water don't go well together. So you have to disperse your pigments with like a binder, something that's going to bind them. So in that article, they recommended using the GAC 100 to do this. So I actually bought this GAC 800 quite a while ago because my friend Michelle Galley at Grateful Creations sent me over an article saying that this is what they use to wet the pigments to make acrylic paint. So I bought it, and it's really just sat around. So I used this, and in that article it said, like, basically the formula to make the paint was, to start with, was 1 part pigment to 1 part GAC 100, or your wetting agent, basically, and then 1 part of your, so you take that combined, that 1-to-1 ratio, you mix that all in, and then you add a 1 part gel gloss medium to that that mixture. So then you make that a 1-to-1 ratio. Start there, see what happens. I did that and I made this paint and I was so excited, you guys. I can't even tell you how excited I was. So then what I did is, from there, I take my pouring medium, which I use, it's the, this is just the bottle that I put it in, but it's 50% Floetrol, 50% GAC 800. And then I slowly add my pouring medium to that mixture, and that's how I come up with how I mix my paints. Now, sometimes I have to thin it down even further for a Dutch pour, and when I do that, I don't use water. I use GAC 800 because I feel more comfortable with that, with these pigments, than I do water. So, and then in that article, I'm not sure if I already said this or not because this is the 3rd time I've done this. I keep forgetting to press play. Anyway, I can't remember if I said this or not, but pigments and water, pigments have an aversion to water. So that's why you can't wet pigments with water. you have to use something else. So a lot of people use alcohol, like a rubbing alcohol. Some people just use like a GAC 800, a Liquitex pouring medium. I really like this. So I decided I would stick with this. I trust Golden. I trust, they are very transparent, and they have so much info. So I'm definitely going to support Golden because you ever have a question, they are there for you. So anyway, I also thought, so I know that this combo here works good. Okay. So I thought, well, what if I get some other gel gloss mediums and see how they work in comparison to the Golden, because everybody has a different um, budget for things. So, and sometimes you may be near a blick, you can't get the Golden, or you can't get a certain gel medium. I'm thinking that if I try all these, because there's really an economy gel medium, if I try these all, then maybe it's just going to be kind of a universal thing. So whatever gloss medium that is available to you, to try that. Okay, so I am going to start now. I'm just going to add a scoop of the pigment. I'm going to be using Twilight, this little piggy Twilight, and I am going to mix that up into each of my cups. I'm just going to put a scoop in. I'm not going to use a lot because this really is for demonstration purposes. I don't want to waste my pigments, but I'm going to take a healthy scoop of each, because I do want this to be really like show how they all look, and I want it to be equal. So I'm going to take now the GAC 100. Oh, also you guys, be very careful with these pigments when you're mixing them. I know you've probably heard it from a million other artists that you really do need to make sure you have a mask on, because these pigment particles get in your lungs and that's really not good for you. So make sure that you have a mask on when you're using this. Try to keep it ventilated, because even when you take the mask off, there could be particles floating in the air. I don't have a mask on today. I normally always have one on, but I want you to be able to hear me when I'm doing this. So I'm going to just take, and basically you're going to do a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, so this is the GAC 100. I'm just going to do a healthy squirt like that to mix very gently with my pigments. And yeah, definitely at first you want to mix gently, because you don't want those pigments puffing out. Okay, so I'm gonna mix this up really good. Once they're all wet, then you can start mixing a little more vigorously, but yeah, you want to be careful at first. Make sure you scrape all the sides. Oh, by the way, these little spoons from Fluid Art Co. are awesome, because they get in all the cracks and crevices, and they're really good at scraping things down. And they're the tip of it, you can't really tell, but the tip of it, I'll show you. Like the tip of this is actually thinner, and it kind of like bends, so you can get in like those little crevices. They're awesome. So just and you can get that at fluidart.co, or fluid-art.co is where you can get, I think you can get like a pack of 12 or something of them. So definitely check that out. You can use a popsicle stick though too. You can use whatever you have on hand, but these are really handy little things. Okay, so that's all mixed together. There's lots of air bubbles on it, but I can tell that all the pigments are dispersed in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and squeeze in a 1-to-1 ratio. So I'm going to do 1 part of this to this 1 part here now. So now I'm going to do probably about that much. Probably about 1 part, maybe just a little tiny bit more. There. Okay, and I'm going to mix that in. And as you add the pouring medium, the color is going to change a little bit. It's going to become lighter, but that's only while it's in the cup. Once it's dry, it will darken back up to its true color, but you will see that it is going to get kind of lighter and lighter as I keep adding more mediums to it. Okay. Oh, just sprayed my face. Well, that's cute. Got my microphone. Oh, goodness, you guys. Never a dull moment here. Like, literally, this is my 3rd time filming this because I keep messing up. And, well, the first time I messed up, and the second time I forgot to press play. So, I'm going to have lots of batches of this paint sitting around. Hopefully I can use it. Okay, so you guys see this? This is now it's basically a heavy body paint. Okay. So, I mean, if I wanted to, I could make any type of consistency I want with this, because now I have just basically an acrylic paint. And so if I wanted to do a thicker paint, I just would change my pouring medium. So that's the Blick one. Now what I do is I am going to take my pouring medium and I'm going to add in a little bit, mix it in just to integrate the paint with the pouring medium before I add a lot more. It just mixes better when you do it that way. I'm not going to make a lot of this because I'm really doing this just for experimental purposes. And I'm not even really sure how the Blick and the Liquitex is going to turn out, so I don't want to make up a lot of it. If it's not going to work out well for me. Okay, so that's good to mix. I'm just going to add in a little bit more pouring medium. And you guys, you can tell I'm a very messy mixer. It's like all over my hands. It's a mess. So again, I mean, you're seeing this is a lot lighter than what it was in here, but again, it will darken once it dries. And sometimes it'll start darkening too in the cup. May look very milky, and then as it sits and the pigments start to settle in, then it tends to darken up then too. Okay, so guys, now look at that consistency. It is the perfect consistency for Dutch pour, or for my Dutch pours anyway. That's how I like it. Okay, so that's the Blick. Move that over here. Okay, so now let's move on. I am going to do exactly the same thing with each of these others, and I'm going to fast forward this, guys, for you so you don't have to sit and wait and watch me do it. So So now that they are all mixed, I'm just going to check on the consistency. They seem pretty good. This one seems maybe a tad thicker. This one's pretty good. Liquitex is pretty good. This might be a little bit thicker. So what I do in this situation, instead of adding water, which you could add water, but instead of adding water to thin it, I like to just take a little squirt of the GAC 800 and I thin it that way. I just find that when I'm working with pigments, adding water just has not been, hasn't worked well for me. So yeah, that's pretty good. Now, this one, yeah. Now with my pigments, I don't mind if they're just a tad bit thicker. So yeah, that's how I mix them, guys. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a couple of canvases and I am going to demonstrate how these do not disappear because we've made paint out of them. Okay.
Okay, so in the same order as I had them mixing them, I have the Liquitex on the left, the golden in the middle, and the acrylic on the far right. So I did all of the exact same colors. This is my second try because apparently this day I was not doing well with mixing or painting or blowing out. So anyways, I added in this little piggy pigment ballet slippers in this. I love it. You guys, I love it. It's a beautiful shade. So that was mixed with the golden gel medium, but in each of these respective tiles, I added the Liquitex or the Twilight mixed with the brand of gel medium that we mixed together. So I'm just gonna blow this out. You guys are gonna see that it turns out really beautiful. In each of the tests, the Twilight and the ballet slipper, the pigments that I did mix up, they mixed up and they blew out beautifully and they stayed put. I had no problems with them. The one actually with the acrylic, the blowout was my favorite. And I will show you the resin results of each of these. Except for the middle one, I did one off camera that I did resin, and I haven't quite gotten to resining the one in the middle yet, but I will show you all of the results, and I will show you actually the dry results of the middle one with the golden, as well as the dried resin results of another one that I did off camera with the golden gel medium. So those will be coming up here pretty soon. If you're liking what you're seeing, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're notified each time I put out a new video. I'm really happy to be able to use the pigments with a Dutch pour now. I'm really excited. It's funny because after I kind of did the research and figured this all out, I went on vacation. I came back and Massey Art Studio had a video where they mixed up their pigments with a gel medium and then added pouring medium for their grenade paint grenades. And so they mix it up a little bit different, but they have the same idea of making paint first and then diluting it down with a pouring medium, which I think is the best way to do this. So here is the Liquitex one. This is resined, so that Twilight turned out really beautiful, as well as the ballet slipper. You see that shimmering in there as well on this one. I'm going to let you guys watch the dry results of all these, but yeah, I'm super thrilled to be able to use my pigments in my Dutch pours now, and I'm going to be experimenting with the pearl pours as well. So thank you guys again for being here. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, y'all.